Good afternoon everyone, or good morning for those of you who are joining us from Pacific or Prairies region. So today we will be having our second session on learning R together. And we're trying to make it as useful and as easy as possible for you, so you can really start doing something right away. So I will start sharing with you the screen very soon. And at the same time, because people are still joining, I need to, that's quite a little trick, to watch both screens at the same time. Okay. Okay, just, I need to see where this is very interesting how it does it. I can see, I see people are joining, but I need to find a window where it would allow me actually to admit people. Okay, yeah, so more and more people are joining. And how do I? Okay, I see. Okay, I got it. Nice. I seem to find the right button. So because again, there is a separate window which people are showing up, more and more people are showing up, and I need to click admit button to add more people. And at the same time, I need to watch all my other screens. So let's try to go back to my screen here. Okay, I'll open the chat window as well. So I see now both chat window and I can see people who are here. Okay, now I will try to go back to my screen because I have plenty of screens here. Okay, okay. Okay. That's how we'll do it. Okay. So again, my name is Dmitry Gorodnichi. I'm the research scientist with the Canada Border Services Agency. And I work in downtown Ottawa, and I'm not a frontline officer. But I have to say that I admire the work of my colleagues right there, especially now in these very hard times for our country and the planet, right? And I cannot be there in my uniform. I don't have a uniform actually, but I can help possibly with my brains of skill and the creativity and initiative. And this is essentially what I'm trying to do here as well on my own time at lunchtime, and also share this knowledge with other people who are interested potentially to learn something new and useful for your own projects, and maybe also to contribute a little bit to this initiative which I'm doing, which is visualizing COVID data. So I will start sharing the screen in a minute, but before that, again, a little bit of a background. So my background is in computing science. I was doing artificial intelligence in computing science. And I was also adjunct professor with computing science at University of Ottawa here. And recently I started doing more collaboration with the Department of Mathematics and Statistics at the University of Ottawa. So, again, we're trying to bring the community together, computing science or mathematics or statistics people to work together, because this is a different type of skill, but we do need to work together to create something useful. Okay, so share desktop. Okay. I hope you can see now my desktop. And actually, yeah, let's just go over it. So I will start with the portal, which I have updated since last time. Let's have a look. What is new there? So first, I have created now, there is a YouTube channel where I will be putting all the recordings of the sessions which we're having, because not everyone can join them live, but you can follow them later offline. And I will provide transcripts of those sessions in here. Now, you will see I have created a page which is entirely dedicated to R101, learning R together. And we will go quickly through the topics which we have covered last time and our key takeaways. And then we'll go to the next step, which is doing something with the code which we have started last time. Now, what else do I have on my screen? Let's have a look. We have rcloud.com. I suggest that you also start this screen on your computer. And I also have a directory with codes. And you would see that I have added a file called 01read.r, which is exactly the file which I have created with you last time. So it's right here. And you can just cut and paste this file into your RStudio Cloud if you have not done it yet. Now, what else do I have there? Let's have a look. I have files which I have copied from my other projects, which allow you to read data, different type of data. And we will be taking some lines from there. I have also created a file called common.r. And I have mentioned about this file last time. This is where we would be putting all useful libraries and functions which we would like to have later. So now we can go back into RStudio Cloud. And this is where we have left last time. You would see that last time I have created a new project. And I'm going to this project right now, and I will give a name to this project. We will call it R101. But before that, let's remind ourselves what we have done last time. Remember, I've shown you that there is right here. I'm watching on screen how it looks. So I'm using my hands to point on the left-hand side of the screen. You see a menu, and it shows tools, learn, and primers. And you remember I've shown you that there are tutorials which are built into this RStudio Cloud. So you can do at your own pace and your own time anything you want. And then we have our own project, which is where we will go now. So I will click on our untitled project. I will call it now R101. And you see it's recovering all the data which has been created remotely. It's very nice, because normally you would have to have it on your machine, you would have to back up your data. Now you don't need to worry about that. You can just log into cloud, and RStudio is doing that all for you. So you see this is where we left last time. So I have copied this portion of code, which lists various libraries. And then I have copied this code, which reads the file from Johns Hopkins University. Now you see I'm trying right now to rearrange my windows. You remember I've shown you last time a very important trick about the table of contents, which you can create yourself. And I have slightly updated it since last time to show you the importance of it. You see, I can click here on General Libraries, PIMS, and it goes directly to this label, which I have created here. Then I created another label called Reading Data. Look, I'm clicking here, and it goes directly to here, right? And so on and so on. I have created a few other labels here, right? So I'm using 4 dashes here. And this is where you can start building something in chunks. So let's have a look at the files which I have created last time. They're on the right bottom corner. You see I have file read.r, and then remember last time we also have created what is called R markdown file. And this is, you can click there and it will open it here. It's a template, and last time we have just compiled this template, and we will do it again today. So this is where we left last time, right? Remember, so we have created 2 files. One is called R script, the other one is called R markdown, and currently I have both of them on my screen. Now you see what I have on my I'm using Firefox here. So these are the pages which I will be using throughout my presentations. Okay, I'll go just quickly check if people have joined. Okay, I see a few more people have joined. So I'll just, will admit them, and we'll go back to where we are. Okay, so let's recap the takeaways from our last session. Now, I'm just going one by one. So last time, what we have done with you, you know now where you can start learning, right? Now you know also where you can start programming. And in fact, you have created your new R script, and we have pasted a line to read the file. Now, let's look at key takeaways. So the first library which we have installed last time was this library. It was only one library called data table. I will make a comment here. So this is my own way of teaching or sharing my knowledge with the audience on R. And this, my experience knowledge, possibly is quite special or unique in some way. There are plenty of resources. In fact, you can just be overwhelmed with the amount of resources and tutorials. And I went through many of them. Now, you remember I mentioned last time that I didn't have any knowledge of R in 2013. Before that, I was programming in C++. And then I was going through all different tutorials, and I found a good way, which I found a good way for myself, which makes it efficient and easy for me to program and to think programmatically in R as I go. And I'm sharing this with you. So data table, to me, is your first best friend. And this is the library we installed last time. Now, you remember I also talked about how you can comment out portions which you are not using yet in R script and also in Markdown. Okay, so we will be continuing coding right now, but this is what I would like to do today. Look, topics covered today. First, I have entirely redesigned the iTrack COVID app. I really wanted to make it simple, but useful. In the past, what I had is just many different graphs, they're interactive, many colors, but you would have difficulty opening them on your phone, and there would be too much information, and actually they don't help you to make any decision about how dangerous or how risky it is for you to go out. So what I thought, I would entirely redesign them and make it closer to home, so to speak. So what I have done, and I'm reloading iTrack right now, because I'm using this as example to show you what you can do with data. You will start with one line which opens Johns Hopkins COVID data. And then out of this one line, you can make something useful. So in fact, this page, this URL, you can now just look at it at your phone, and this page will be automatically loaded automatically, which is very important. Every day you can start your home routine by looking at what's going on in your region. So by default, it opens all regions in Ontario and Quebec. So now you see, for time being, I have removed US data and international data. Again, let's develop something useful first for Canada, and then we will extend it to US. And in fact, what we will be doing with you at the same time, we will be building the same type of code, but for Johns Hopkins University US data. So this information actually becomes much more meaningful, because look, we're looking into the dynamics of the data. What is important is not just data, how many red and green. It's important to know whether it accelerates or decelerates. And look, in Ottawa, so today on the 5th of May, what do we have here? So Ottawa is actually is right here. Look, it keeps accelerating, and in other areas it actually decelerates, but in Ontario it accelerates. And you know, this is what I thought, if I could help somehow my colleagues in downtown or in hospitals or in cross points meeting a huge demand and huge risks associated with the propagation of the pandemic. I thought this is type of information which could be very informative, because it will tell them, okay, for today in Ottawa, people, please be aware that it keeps accelerating. The number of cases keeps increasing. So, and it will be very hard when we'll reach the limit in our hospitals. So this is what I would like to be able you to do now with Johns Hopkins data. And this is what we will be doing with you together. So I'm having here the phone on one side and a piece of paper on the other side. So here, and there I have some notes which I'm making as I go through. So this is, by the way, I don't have any script here. This is entirely improvised as a sort of opportunity to socialize as well. And again, I have my cup of tea with me all the time. Today it's with the lemon. I have some fresh air getting into my bedroom. And by the way, I invite you to do the same, especially in COVID time. It is highly advised that you circulate air a lot. So create a comfortable environment, and let's go back to where we are. So what I would like to talk about today is about general framework of coding. People who are coming from non-computer science background, sometimes they get scared, overwhelmed with all this complexity. And in fact, when they have an error, their heart starts pumping, you know, and what's going on, how I will find out. For computer science people, it's like a smile. Okay, let's find out. Let's troubleshoot it. It's fun activity. We will be troubleshooting all the time. And you remember last time when I was running a code and I was doing it for the first time myself, it was an error. I clicked Control Enter to run the line, and it didn't run. It showed the error. Remember, there was an error message called, and I pasted it here, could not find function. A smile, you understand what's going on, the library is not there, and you do something. So it's very important to do step by step, one line at a time, and just be comfortable that there will be errors. And there are errors which you will know right away, and errors which you don't know right away. And then you can find answers. And answers are right here with you right now. RStudio provides excellent resource for help. I'm quickly going here into RStudio Cloud, and I'm showing you there is help right here. So last time I was using a function called fread. You see, I've decided this will be my first function, which I will give you people who are not familiar with R at all. One function, fread. You know nothing about it, you type it here. And it will show you what this function does. And I have codes here which does it. And today, by the way, it can do it. So last time, remember, it was still not able to do it. I clicked Control Enter, and it showed more errors because there were libraries which were missing. And remember, last time there was this yellow line on top, which showed that some packages were not installed. And last time I didn't want to install it because it would take time. But when I was by myself, I click here, install, and then encourage you to do the same. And I'm doing it right now. I say install. And it installs libraries which are listed here, but which are not installed yet. You see, it installs all those libraries. And in meanwhile, you can read what F-read is doing. So anytime you would have help, and even more, what is important, I go in many cases straight to the bottom when it gives examples. So you see, in fact, in many cases, you even don't need to read the entire documentation. You just need an example, a simple example, how you can read HTTP control or this /.csv file. And this is what we're doing here. Now, I'm using this F-read function, and this function is a part of a data table package. Packages are also called libraries in R. So, and we'll learn a few more tricks about data table. You see, I'm not starting with other libraries. In many other tutorials or courses, you will see they talk about other libraries. For example, dplyr is a very good library, and we'll talk about it, but I think later. To me, your best friend is data table. Your second best friend is this library. And we will be running them right now. So in order to run the library, you put your cursor there and you press Control Enter. Bim. So look, and it executes the library. Now I do the same for a library called magrittr, which is a library which allows you to talk in our language the way you talk in English, or en français, si vous voudrez. By the way, si vous voudrez, vous toujours posez les questions en français, даже по-русски, украински, якщо хочете. So anyway, I hope to make it as comfortable. Don't be shy to ask questions in any language, but very importantly, we learn our language. And this package allows you to talk, look, in terms of pipelining, do this, and then do this. This is what it means. Pipeline, do this, and then this. So what we do here, in R, there is an operator called assign. And you can have numbers. Look, I'm just cutting and pasting. And you can, at the bottom, you can always just test something. So what is 1, column 2, 5? It's just a sequence of numbers. Now, what is this? It's also a sequence of numbers, but you see, it's a sequence from 1 to 5, then from 8 to 11. And now this sequence of numbers is assigned to a variable calls. I call it calls. Now, here we assign something else, which is data, to another variable, which is called DT University USC, I call it. I press Control Enter, and you see, boom, it is already downloaded. Now, you can visualize it right here. When I say run, it means you put your cursor there and you click. And you see, it gives you data. And in many cases, the data, you won't be able to see it entirely, right? And your first task always will be to understand your data. This data could be public survey results, it could be body weight time results, it could be some environmental pollution problem which you would like to visualize for your friends. And you need to understand it. So the first line, which you would always want to do, is just run a variable. The second line, which you can do, is run a variable, but with a pipeline, you say names. Show me names of the variables. And Control Enter. what are the variables? And you'd see it has plenty of variables. It has, so essentially variables are columns in your spreadsheet. So, okay, I got it. Now you can also have something else. You could have called structure. But tell me what is the structure. So what are those variables? And you can see, okay, the columns, probably they are numbers for each day. And apparently they add a column every day. And they have, in the beginning, they have variables called province, country, latitude, longitude. So this is what we will be doing. So we will remove columns which we don't need, because some of those columns we don't need. And in data table, you can do it with this line. So I'm running this line right now. PIMS. Okay. Now, there is a function called melt, and I will let you read what melt is doing yourself in here, in help. And meanwhile, we will run this line. So, by the way, you see, when I was running, it says columns were not found. Surely enough, I have not run this line yet. So let's press Control Enter. Now it knows this variable. So now it has deleted these columns, and now I'm running this line. Essentially, what this line tells is that I would like to keep only two columns, which are state and the health region, and keep all other columns, which are dates, put them from horizontal to vertical, like melting snow, you know, like melt, it goes and it goes down, right? So your data was horizontal. It was city, state, and date added every day. Now we'll keep what city, state, and date will go down. And you will see why it is important, because it will be easier to handle it. So I press Control Enter here. Okay, now let's have a look what it is. Another trick, you can highlight a variable, just highlight it. You see I have highlighted it, and press Control Enter. So instead of just running the entire line, you have highlighted it. Now, sometimes you need to do it twice. You see I have done it twice because there is some, I guess, backlog in how it runs. So, and now you see, actually, you see very well your table, the meaning of the table. It's beautiful now. Look, it has admin, which is city. It has province, state, and variable. And variable in this case will be a type of metrics, which is either confirmed cases, death cases, or recovery cases. And you have a value. So later, you could do something like that. Look, you will say, show me a variable. So I'm highlighting a variable here. Variable, actually, let's do it this way. So you can do like that. You can say, show me by variable how many of those variables are. So variable, it's another line which from data table, and we'll talk more about that. So I think it will be a special session just on that. But at this point, I really just wanted you to understand that you can do this. And another very important function, very useful, is this, which is a summary. So what I will do, because we're running out of time, I will add a few more lines here which will visualize those variables. So you would be able to plot values as a function of time. But before that, what I'm doing here, I would like to change the names. Look, I'm changing the names right here. And I'm going back to my code because the code has been already written here. And you will be able to better understand what this code is doing here. Look, I'm reading data from Johns Hopkins, and there is another line which is converting a date to a date type, because currently it's a character type. So we need to copy this line into here. Let's do it. What it does, look, because slightly different name here. You see, it cannot find a function, this function, which is to convert it to a date. So this function is another very important function here, which is LibreDate. Now, what I will be doing, I will be adding libraries, which we're using right here. And those functions, all other functions, I'll keep them here in the block. And you see, another very good trick is that you keep your codes in blocks. And if you don't want to execute this block, you use if statement with false. So now I have loaded this library, and I can run the same line again right now. Okay, so I think we're getting close to running out of time. So what I will do very soon is just saying goodbye, and but again encourage you to now to start using this resource which I have provided here, and let's still run a summary. And now let's see what we have here. We need to run this line. So what is happening, we are converting date from one type to another. So at the moment, it treats everything as a character, because in the beginning, it treats everything as a character. And you will need to make them, some of these columns will be numbers, some of these will be maybe factors, some of these will be data type. So currently, I see that it was treating date as something different. I want data to be treated as numbers. So we'll be talking about that later, because date needs to be a number. So I will give you opportunity to ask questions here. I'm just going to chat right now. Let's have a look if you have any questions at the moment. And I will close the screen right now. Stop sharing. I will go back to my video here. Okay, I see some faces here, and I would like to again. So thanks again, everyone. I hope everyone is having a good time. Stay safe. Stay safe, and please again don't hesitate to ask questions here. It's a little tricky to do it in real time, to ask all those questions, to answer all those questions right now, but I will answer all of those questions. So again, maybe what we will be doing, I'll be using this 40 minutes as a live opportunity to talk to all of you, and then we will go back to all your questions next time. Let's see how much time do we still have here. Chat, okay. So thank you everyone very much. Again, please stay safe. Another very important resource which I wanted to mention here: when you have a question here, how do I